Welcome, everyone, to the grand opening of Cathedral Gardens, where the sun will be shining soon enough on the tenants who will be living here. I want to thank you all for being here, and a special thanks to the residents who are able to be here today. The last time I was here was for the groundbreaking, and we were essentially on a vacant lot. Now there are these 100 beautiful, sustainable apartments, fully leased, and there is a waiting list, as there is for every affordable development being built nowadays, especially in the Bay Area. So that goes to show you how much affordable housing is really needed here and throughout the entire Bay Area. There are many people who understood that need years ago when talks for Cathedral Gardens began, including our elected officials who supported us throughout the process. Today, we are honored to be joined by many of those local and regional elected officials and their staffs. I'm pleased to acknowledge these officials, and for those of you who are present, please stand when I call your name, and I ask the audience to hold your applause until we are finished calling the names out. Thank you. Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf, Oakland City Council President Lynette Gibson McElhaney, Adam Simons, Chief of Staff to Council Member Annie Campbell Washington, from the Office of Senator Lonnie Hancock, District Representative Isabel Cortez, from the Office of Assembly Member Rob Bonta, Senior Field Representative Diego Garcia, and from the Office of Assembly Member Thurman Field, Representative Brett Badell. Thank you all. Your efforts in supporting affordable housing truly make a difference in the lives of your constituents. I also ask my colleagues on the EAH Board of Directors, who could be here today, those who are able to be here today, to stand and be acknowledged. And they are Joe Walsh, Lynn Warren, Pat Cashman, Doug Elliott, and Paul Foster. Thank you all for your contributions to EAH Housing. Now it is my pleasure to introduce our Master of Ceremonies, Greer McVeigh of the Oakland Housing Authority.
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. My name is Greer McVeigh. I am the Senior Communications Manager for Oakland Housing Authority, and we are honored to be here to be a part of this celebration. Everyone at EAH and Oakland Housing Authority are just amazed at the transformation of this area and this property. We're so pleased to be a part of not just helping to develop the Uptown area, but also to provide homes for 100 families. The number may not seem like a huge number given the need, but that's 100 families that now have a place to call home. So again, without further ado, EAH President and CEO, Mary Murtaugh.
Thank you all so much for coming today. What an awesome crowd, what an awesome property. This is just great. So as Greer mentioned, it was almost 10 years that we started working on this property when the Oakland Diocese started thinking about trying to help this neighborhood where their cathedral, the St. Francis de Sales Cathedral, had been since 1893. I'm always afraid I'm going to mispronounce Sales, but I think I got it right. And so, of course, as you all know, that was irrevocably damaged in the Loma Prieta earthquake and had to be taken down. So there's a nice big photograph of it in our downstairs lobby that we hope you all take a look at. We were able to enter into a letter of intent with the diocese in 2006. And after a number of conversations between Bill Carr, is Bill here by any chance? Well, he was back at the beginning. Oh, hey, Bill. I don't see him, but oh, there you are back there. Great, good work. You nailed them down. And Frank Arthur. And then the following year, in 2007, Phil Neville and the Oakland Housing Authority stepped up as a partner, and that was momentous. That made this entire deal happen. In 2008, we entered into an agreement between the diocese and the Oakland Housing Authority and EAH, and began the plan of action that hopefully is going to make permanent, well, definitely make a permanent change in this neighborhood, all for the good. So now we have this incredibly exciting addition to Uptown, and including the beautiful historic preservation of the rectory, which has got gorgeous apartments, and the affordable community of 100 people, parents, kids, seniors, people with disabilities, all of whom were struggling to either maintain affordable housing or find affordable housing. And as you know, that is an incredibly difficult thing to do these days. And now they're home here in either a 1, 2, or a 3-bedroom apartment, safe and sound in this beautiful place. And without the political will and the commitment, though, of all of our partners, this is just not possible to do. And we could not have done it. In addition to the Housing Authority, the City of Oakland played a key role, and also the County of Alameda. And we really thank all of you for sharing this vision of affordable housing near the heart of Oakland and close to so many great things that Oakland has to offer, quarter mile from BART. It's just spectacular. So we also are going to make you all proud, we hope. I think we're still in the fingers crossed stage on this one and getting our LEED Platinum designation and furthering EAH's. I believe that we are the leader in solar power MASH certificates from the state of California, on our way to 10 megs of solar. We're also so proud to have worked side by side with Oakland Housing Authority on a project that honors the deep history of this special site. And Eric, John's there. Where are you, Eric? Hey, stand up, please. Take a bow. Eric, Phil Neville, Clint Lofton, you guys, spectacular. There they are, hiding in the middle. Thank you so much. You guys were just a pleasure to work with, and just added so much value to the project in terms of, Clint was just all over the design on this thing. And residents have access to wellness activities and after-school programs that we were a leader on in the entire western United States. Community building groups, financial literacy, and one of our residents teaches an exercise class that I can't pronounce. It's spelled Qigong. Doug Elliott, board member, could you help me translate that? I think it's Qigong. Qigong. Oh, good. Thanks, Doug. We also have got some wonderful local service organizations that work with us as well, including East Bay Innovations, AIDS Project of the East Bay, and the Alameda County Behavioral Health Care Services. We're very thankful to be working with those groups. As always, it takes a dedicated team to make it through these 9-year processes to get this done. And we're very fortunate at EAH to have a very sophisticated and hardworking development staff led by Errol Dominguez and Matt Steinley. Matt's in the back. Wave, Matt. Come on, get over it. And Errol, stand up. Okay, he's being shy. Thank you. These guys do an amazing job. And last but not least, our wonderful property management staff at EAH. They are incredible. So these guys make everything run on the ground and are tough and fair and compassionate and are dedicated to making sure that people who live here have a wonderful quality of life, and that means being safe and for us to be safe for the neighborhood as well. So you can imagine the looks on the faces of our property management staff when UPS arrived and wheeled in a little cart with 3 boxes of applications. And they were like, okay, fine, stick them in the corner. And then UPS went back out, and then they came back with 3 more boxes. And then they came back with 3 more boxes. And then they came back, and then they came back. And there was this pile of boxes that we have a photograph of somewhere in the archives, and a staff in a state of utter panic. Another load, and then we're done. Of course, as you all know the story. We had 5,009 completed applications for the 100 units, which is heartbreaking. I mean, all the people who couldn't get in here could fill our community room 61 times. But at any rate, our property management team did the smart thing and yelled for help. And we pulled in staff from all over our portfolio to help with compliance and the huge amount of paperwork it took to qualify every one of these residents to be in the lottery, because that was how else do you manage 5,009 applications? So I would particularly, they couldn't all be here to be thanked, but I'd particularly like to thank our regional manager, Michael Benetti. If Michael's here, lurking in the back. Hey, Michael? Tall guy, light shirt. Katina Wilson. Katina, are you here? Well, deserves a big hand wherever you are, Katina. She's probably back at her desk typing. Joanna Whittington. I know you're here, Joanna. Where are you? She's our property supervisor. And last but not least, there you are. There's Joanna. Right next to her is Heather Esmond, our property manager. Hey. Bravo. This is the life and breath of running a great apartment complex as the property managers. So with that, thank you to everyone who's here representing all of these organizations without whom we could never have gotten this done.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's awesome to be here during Affordable Housing Week and celebrating 100 affordable homes for Oakland families. That is so amazing. I have the distinct privilege of representing this fine community in the heart and soul of the town, Oakland's District 3, and to celebrate this milestone in just a few moments, and then to introduce my partner in all things good, Mayor Libby Schaaf. We are at a unique time, I think, in Oakland's history, and Mary, thank you so much for your work and your comments, because you've really said it all. But I'm looking at Cathedral Gardens as a metaphor for exactly where we are. This is a mix of old and new. It is the preservation of a great historic building that served many families, and the addition of new, modern building that could be LEED certified to house families. And I think about where we are in the city, mixing old and new. We're receiving that wave of talent and investment and influx, and we all have the challenge of how do we have social and economic diversity and integration? How do we have tremendous wealth, apartments that are renting at $3,000 a month, a few feet away from people who are paying several hundred a month, and having people be neighbors together in this great community? And I want to also honor Federica and Charlene, who are residents here, who welcomed me as soon as I got here. Thank you. With that kind of hospitality, this will be a beacon of light and hope for many, many generations.
Partnerships make anything possible. And this incredible day is really about celebrating some great partnerships. EAH, the Housing Authority, the City of Oakland, the county. It's when we can come together that those things that feel so insurmountable can actually be done. I'm very excited that this event is taking place during Affordable Housing Week. Yes, Ebho. Hey, Gloria. Affordable Housing Week. And that story of the boxes of applications and the people who did not get that incredible privilege and blessing of being on this literally hallowed ground is really a stark reminder about why every week is Affordable Housing Week. The city of Oakland is an incredible place to live. And whether it's the good news or the bad news, other people have discovered that as well. And they are coming here. We find ourselves in this odd position of living in an incredibly expensive place. And at the same time, we have the second fastest rising rents of any city in the country. Not just the Bay Area, not just California, the country. Many Oaklanders could not afford to actually buy a home in the neighborhood where they are currently living now. And yet, we as fiercely proud Oaklanders have got to preserve that poppin' sizzlin' secret sauce. And there is no neighborhood that epitomizes the secret sauce of Oakland like the Uptown. What is that? It's our diversity. It is our artists and creativity. It's that little bit of gritty industrial flavor where Oakland's always been a great city for working class families. And it is our commitment to progressive values, the fact that we are the home of social movements. Sometimes we even like to protest. That's just who we are. And so this project is such a great example of how we can do that. We can invite new people into this city, but we can also preserve and protect the people who have lived here all along. That we can preserve that diversity, that creativity that we're so proud of. And this hallowed ground, because this was, blessed, I think by priests, by the Holy Spirit, is a great place to celebrate that potential. I also want to commend you for the reuse, for the preserving of Oakland's rich history by reusing the rectory, a building that's nearly 100 years old, if I'm not mistaken. And so again, that is part of how Oakland can kind of preserve and also progress. So congratulations to EAH. You guys have a lot of vowels. EAH. Say that 3 times fast. Congratulations to EAH, to all of the partners who made this possible. I want to give a special shout out to our City of Oakland's dedicated housing staff. And maybe I ask that everybody say a special prayer for our Director of Housing, whose family's going through a hard time right now. So a little prayer for Michelle Bird in this hallowed ground. So again, partnerships make all things possible. Oakland can do this. This is our time, and we are going to do it by embracing everyone. So thank you so much, and congratulations.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a joy to be here, and I have some quick thank yous and then a couple little quick comments about affordable housing for Oakland that I have been sharing this week to those who will listen. First, I want to thank EAH and their staff, Mary Murtaugh, Al Bennett, Matt Steinley, Benny Kwan. You guys have been terrific partners from us from day one, and you have capacity, you have experience, and you made our jobs very easy. And that, I think, comes from Phil and from Clint and from the whole team at OHA. Very proud to welcome you to Oakland with this project. For our city family, the city of Oakland, first I want to thank our mayor, who understands this city and understands, I think, what it needs in terms of housing more than I can express in 5 minutes. From hearing her talk, knowing her perspective, I think, is enlightening to us all. Councilmember McElhaney, her words always inspire me, and particularly around affordable housing, and particularly because she understands it's never about the housing, it's about the people in the housing. It's about the connections and the abilities and the lives of the people in the housing, what they can accomplish. And you say, okay, it's 100 units of housing, isn't that great? Well, that is the tiniest drop of water in a very big bay. But over the 55 years, how many families will be assisted through this project? So you need to look at the long term. You have to understand this is long-term permanent affordable housing for families in Oakland. And that means 20 years from now, 30 years from now, you can come by this site and it will still be housing people and very low-income people. And I think that's what makes affordable housing, as we all call it and think about it, very important. I want to thank Michelle Bird, who's been a wonderful partner, and she has my heartfelt prayers for her family. Norma Thompson is here because I saw her, although I haven't said hello. Norma and Diana Doughton, I think, is here as well. Thank you, guys. Dan Rossi at the City Attorney's Office, Pete Volleman with the City Planner's Office. And I don't know if Joe DeVries is here. Did you? Well, you tell him because I run into him at the gym, and he'll hit me up. He'll be mad if I don't mention him. Joe DeVries did something for all of us in this neighborhood related to the plaza next door, and I really want to thank a series of people who helped with the park. It was Joe, it was Captain Lindsay, it was Brooke Levin, it was Audrey Jones-Taylor and all the recreation staff, and the city has got a grant, and they are moving ahead with redoing the plaza next door, and I'm very excited what that's going to be for the neighborhood, and the cooperation we got last year from the city showed why the city worked. And I was so glad that EAH hadn't done a project in Oakland, and they got to see the truth, that Oakland works. On behalf of OHA, I want to thank our Board of Commissioners, who all of this is possible because of their understanding, willingness, and 5 years ago, it was 5 years ago, we had an all-day retreat on a Sunday to start figuring out what projects we could do with the money we had. And I want to thank Vice Chair Marlene Hurd is here. A couple of other, Lynette Young Lee, Barbara Montgomery are also here, but all the commissioners for coming together, being brave, committing the money, and getting projects going. And I think the entire city has benefited for that over the last couple of years. And I'm very grateful for them. Phil Neville has been with us, heading our Office of Real Estate Development for many, many years. And he's accompanied by some really terrific staff. Bridget Galka, Clint Lofton was in charge of this project. And I just think they've done wonderful things for the city over their term. Michelle Hassan is here. She's the director of our leased housing Section 8 department. Doug Lee as well. Kit Lang. Tina Carpenter, who handles all our owner services, helping with the lease up. Daryl, and by the way, the property management staff at EAH, wherever you are, there. Thank you. You made it very easy. We appreciate working with you. I have a great deal of respect for the property management staff, as that is where I came from. And I know the challenges, and I know how hard it is. I don't know if Daryl Moore is here, but I want to send a thank to him. He's a council member of the city of Berkeley, happens to also work with Housing Authority and doing great work in 2 different areas. Patricia Wells, who helped so much with the park next door. Raise your hand, Patricia, thank you. And Chief Carol Duplessis, who's next to her, really helped us a lot in terms of, nothing, as I say, moves in the Housing Authority without an attorney. So Goldfarb and Lippman, I want to thank Michelle Brewer, who's been doing this work wonderfully for years, and Isabel Brown, who helped with this project. Barney Deasy, he gets to speak, I think, later. I want to send out a shout out to him and the work he's done through his entire career. He sits on 2 of my affiliated nonprofit boards and just is a wonderful resource for this city. And Ballard Spar, our bond counsel, David Pryor. So those are my thank yous, and I hope I didn't miss anyone. But I wanted to just talk for just 2 minutes about the concept of affordable housing. Oh, and Benny Kwan, so glad to see you here. Benny was the first face of EAH we all got to know, I'm telling you. I'm glad you're here. And I just want to say, when we think about affordable housing, when it's Affordable Housing Week, let's realize that every new unit improves the affordability of housing in my city. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you, Greer. We couldn't be more blessed but to have Oakland Housing Authority as our partner. It wasn't mentioned previously. They bought the site. They paid cash money for this site. But it's okay. They're getting $100 a year back on the ground lease. Before I get started, I want to echo the recognition that Benny Kwong so deeply deserves. Former EAH project manager Benny Kwong, he, along with Chris Lehman, got this project entitled. No small feat. I had to work with the Landmarks Commission and assembled all of the financing for this project. So Benny, stand up a second time. Those of you who know me know, first of all, that I'm not a public speaker, but beyond that I'm basically a transaction guy. I design the financing program. I work with the lenders, the investors. I do the closings, et cetera. I study the capital accounts, make sure we have adequate minimum gain if they go negative, et cetera. All of that stuff. But this project was different. At my stage of my career, I don't spend much time in the trailer, but this was different. And I got to see a first-class team in operation. This was an incredibly difficult project to build and to cost out, frankly. We have 99 units of underground parking. We didn't know if the wall of the Rectory building was going to stand. I mean, that was some work that needed to be done, and it was done excellently, and it was done with a great deal of risk involved. And I want to thank everybody in that trailer who I got to watch. I want to thank Adele. I want to thank Tim Theseus, if Tim Theseus is still here. And I want to thank Kian. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank, good Lord, I want to thank, of course, Mo, who you all work for. I mean, Mo is the world's only new age general contractor that I've seen from Persia. But he is who he is, and he's a wonderful man, and he's very calm when things get rough. And this was a difficult project. We had to wrestle with multiple cost issues that were unforeseen, and we just had to struggle through. And we did. And it was done with respect, without name calling, without accusations, because it was tough. It was really tough. And I want to thank, first and foremost, the leader in that trailer, the guy who designed this project, the guy who put his heart and soul into this project. And in my entire career, I've never seen an architect spend as much time on the job site working through every bloody issue that arose. Chris, he did it. Chris Lehman. Now on the financing, which is my bailiwick, but I'm going to go through it relatively quickly. First, on the debt side, I want to thank J.P. Morgan Chase that put in $21 million of tax-exempt construction financing, and Henry Tiedemann, who had to struggle with me through these cost issues, and we had to deal with him in the trailer. It was quite a dance, but Henry hung in there and did a great job. And I've known Henry for, 25 years, since the first affordable housing deals were done, and he was at Union Bank of California. Is Henry here? Someplace, there he is. Okay. On the subordinate debt side, as we in the financing business call it, I want to start off, first of all, with the real heroes of the financing of this project, and that's Oakland, the city of Oakland, who put in $9.84 million of perm debt into this project and enabled this to be a bond finance project, which turned out to be crucial when costs got a little bit away from us, because we weren't capped on basis. I don't want to get arcane here, but that was of decisive significance for us. I want to thank Diana Downton, then with the City of Oakland, and on the front end, and now with Community Economics. She stepped up. Thank you. And on the back end, I want to thank Christina Morales, of course, both of whom were just an absolute pleasure to work with and stayed right on top of all the details. Cal HFA, the sponsors of the MHSA program, I want to thank Ruth Vakili and Kevin Brown. I know Kevin's here. Apparently Ruth couldn't make it. There's Kevin. Thank you, Kevin. And Alameda County, who provided the funding for the tenants who are HIV positive, who are residing in this project right now. I want to thank Anjanette Scott. And on to what I have to say is the big enchilada, the equity side. And I want to thank Bernie Deasy. I want to thank Karen Smythe, who couldn't be here today. Apparently she's jet-lagged. And Suzanne Weiss. They were fantastic to work with. Barney really wanted this deal, and he stepped up big time to pay for it. We got great pricing on this transaction and a great deal of flexibility. I've worked with a lot of investors over the years, and Merit is an absolute delight to work with, and I can't say that for everybody. Finally, I want to express my hope that this project becomes what we all want it to be, a community. We've worried about how successful we could be. And I'm praying that the tenants come out of their units, get to know each other, get to appreciate each other, get to understand who each other are, because they come from a variety of countries, a variety of backgrounds. And we really, really are praying that this becomes the successful community that we all desperately want it to be. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon. On behalf of Merit's Board of Directors and our outstanding staff, we want to congratulate EAH and the Oakland Housing Authority on a great partnership that produced a fantastic project. But most of all, we want to congratulate the residents of Cathedral Gardens and welcome them to the Uptown community. We're your neighbor. We're glad to see you here, and we hope to have a long relationship over the next 15 years. Merit's role in this project was to bring equity financing to the deal through the tax credit program, and under that program, we provided in excess of $17 million in equity to help build this project, and that's Merit's role. But in this project, we were particularly interested in joining because Merit has a real history with Oakland. We're actually started by the City of Oakland back in 1989. Mayor Lionel Wilson and City Attorney Richard Winnie were instrumental in forming Merit. We've grown now to cover the whole state and are very active in tax credit investments throughout the state, but we particularly enjoy and want to do more in Oakland, and we will do that whenever we can. So once again, thank you very much for being here today, enjoying the dedication, and welcome the community to Uptown and a great project. Thank you very much.
So on behalf of Chase, would like to congratulate EAH and the Oakland Housing Authority on the grand opening of Cathedral Gardens. I'm very excited to see this. I've heard a lot about it, so I'm excited to see it in person. EAH and OHA have built a great community here for the residents that provides an affordable place to live with great access to amenities, transportation, and jobs. It really is an impressive accomplishment. The project is also a tremendous asset for the neighborhood. This development took an underutilized site and turned it into a long-term community asset and a catalyst for positive change in the neighborhood. In a time where rents in Oakland seem to be going up every day, every unit of affordable housing becomes that much more valuable. And this is a great reason for us to celebrate today. On joyful days like this, though, it can be easy to forget how much time and effort it takes to develop a project like this. I'd like to acknowledge the EAH and OHA development teams for all the work they put in making this project a reality. It takes years to conceive, design, and finance a project like this, and I would like to congratulate everyone who contributed to the project. I'm always impressed by the perseverance of affordable housing developers, and EAH and OHA are among the leaders of affordable housing in the Bay Area. I would also like to acknowledge the work of the City of Oakland. Successful affordable projects cannot be done without good public partners, and the City of Oakland has played a significant role in this project. Chase is proud to be a partner on this terrific project and looks forward to working with these great developers. Again, thank you.
I'm here today in the role of the board member of EBHO, and I'm so excited to be here. I was here at the groundbreaking, and so I'm excited to see a tour. I'm excited to see the folks who live here now, and that really is the part. As Greer said, I've played many roles in affordable housing. It never gets old meeting the folks who get to move into these affordable homes. This event is part of Affordable Housing Week, as many people have mentioned. EBHO coordinates this every year. We have events all throughout both counties in the East Bay. And what we do is we celebrate the successes. We celebrate and lift up the stories of the folks who get to live in these affordable homes and how it's changed their lives. But we also highlight the need. Those 4,900 families that didn't get to move in there, we talk about that too. And we do that in order to make sure that we get to have more affordable homes like this built. We make sure that there are more resources at all levels, no matter it be land, no matter it be funding, no matter it be good policies. We want to make sure that EAH and folks like EAH get to build more of these affordable homes for our communities. So thank you to EAH and the numerous partners who've been named multiple times already. It takes a lot of work to get this done. And I know that you're thinking right now, well, what if I don't work for the Housing Authority or I don't work for a bank? What do I do? Well, that's why I'm here. You can be a part of the solution. You can join EBHO today. Become an EBHO member. We are doing the work to make sure that all the cities and counties in the East Bay allot resources for affordable homes. We're also working at the state level to push some bills through, one of which is to make sure we have a permanent and ongoing source of funding for affordable housing in California. Let's see, how can you do that? Well, come talk to me. There's also a lot of EBHO staff here. There's Charlotte Rosen back there. There's Jeff, our indomitable interim executive director, Gloria Bruce, is here. We have another board member back there, Sister Marie. I can't see you. She's in the spring green. Come talk to any of us and figure out how you can join us and plug in. I also want to point out that on the tables out there, you'll see the guidebook that EBHO produces every year. It has wonderful resources for affordable housing. Pick up a copy or two or three, give them out to your friends, and you'll see featured up front is the lovely Cathedral Gardens. And thank you very much.
I want to thank you all for inviting the senator and myself to be here and celebrate this great accomplishment from EHA and the Oakland Housing Authority. As someone who worked in affordable housing with Eden Housing before joining Senator Hancock, I appreciate the work that you're doing to ensure that people have a comfortable living space and a space where they can call home. I look forward to working together along with the senator to ensure that people have a place where they can feel that they belong in Oakland and where they continue to be part of the community. Thank you so much again for having us today.
Good afternoon. My name is Diego Gonzalez from Assemblymember Rob Bonta's office, and I'm joined
by Brett Bedell, Field Representative for Assemblymember Tony Thurmond.
And if we can have Judy and Mary join us as well on. Surprise. No problem. And like it was mentioned, on behalf of Oakland's delegation to the California State Legislature, we'd like to present a certificate of recognition to EAH Housing in recognition of the grand opening of Cathedral Gardens, a 100-unit affordable housing community in the Uptown area in beautiful Oakland, California. Today, May 14th, 2015, signed Assemblymember Tony Thurmond and Rob Bonta.
Our goal is to make everyone who's involved in this development proud, and proud not just today, but for a very, very long time. So you young guys are still going to be around, 50, 60 years. You just come on by, meet the management staff. And if it doesn't look as good as it does today, call whoever is standing in my shoes at that point and give them hell, because our goal is permanently affordable housing. And I mean permanent, and I know legally you can't guarantee that, but we can come as close as that is with a 47-year history of dedication to trying to build great places to live and make huge changes in neighborhoods. And it's a big team effort, but we want to make you proud. Thanks again.